Todd, welcome to the Australian Rock Zone.
Well, thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here. That is the honest truth.
Thank you. So, is this your first time in Australia?
Yes, it is. I almost came here, I was just a little bit 2 weeks late with the Cheap Trick. Got back in 2000, I don't even remember when it was actually, but yeah, I never got a chance to come here, so I've been very looking forward to coming here.
Okay, so drifting back before Cheap Trick, and a lot of Australians wouldn't have been aware, even before Frehley's Comet, your time with Frehley's Comet, you were in a band called 707.
Yeah, that was my first major recording act when I first moved to LA.
Yep.
I went through a lot of bands, and I played with a few people that had some popular people in the projects. And actually, two of them were, one was John Brandt, and the other one was Pete Comita, who would eventually become the replacement bass players in Cheap Trick. Yeah. So there's more to the story, but I eventually played with, after 707, which was about a span of 3 years. Then I played with Ted Nugent for about a year. And then after that, Cheap Trick finally got a hold of me and said, hey, if you're not doing anything now, can you come play for us,
Okay. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Diego, where I currently live.
San Diego's currently
California,
home, right?
Yeah, California.
Okay. Yeah. Very first record you bought?
Well, first record I bought was probably, the Beatles. With my own money was different. My own money could have been Tommy Bolin T-Rex.
Nice.
Yes, I was a big fan of Tommy Bolin.
And how did you get into rock and roll?
I'm not Tommy Bolin, Mark Bolin. Jeez.
Okay, so it's T-Rex.
Big difference, yeah, okay.
Well, Tommy Bolin's cool.
Yeah, he's great.
So is that how you got into rock and roll? Was it just from buying records and listening to...
Yeah, I first listened to the Beatles, and I thought they were fantastic. The harmonies and what was the original double tracking with Paul and John singing the same thing. It just had such a full body sound. And then as I got older, I got into more heavy stuff and Humble Pie, even a little bit Deep Purple, and then even Black Sabbath, and then I started to grow from there.
Steve Marriott had a massive influence on a lot of American musicians, didn't he?
Fantastic. I've always I've got a bluesy background. Okay. I don't have the voice that he had. That was an unbelievable voice.
Sure.
I can sing some of his stuff, but I really enjoy a lot of the bluesy influenced rock, which is English blues, which is influenced by Black American rockabilly and rock itself, which is just odd.
Okay. Well, personally speaking, you first came onto my radar. I was a member of the Frehley's Comet fan club.
No kidding.
Yeah. Ran by a guy out of Modesto in California called Eric Cram.
Yes.
Back in about 1986.
Yes. Wow.
And so I used to read his newsletters, and that's how I very first learned about you. So how do you look back on your time with Frehley's Comet? How did you go about joining?
Well, it was a thing when I was on tour with Cheap Trick. I was playing for Cheap Trick, and we were on tour with John Waite from the Babies, and John Regan was playing bass for John Waite. And I used to listen to their sound checks and go, wow, these guys sound unbelievable. Not so much John Waite, because he's another influence of mine, but it was John Regan and Frankie LaRocca, just unbelievable sound. And I went up and introduced myself to him, and he said, yeah, I know you. You're the guy playing keyboards for Cheap Trick. So we started talking, and I said, I also play guitar, and I'm a lead singer and write songs. And he goes, okay, well, I'm working on a project right now that might, we might be interested in having you come down and auditioning for it. And I said, okay, yeah, whatever. I didn't know what it was, and he didn't tell me. He said, I'm not going to tell you right now because we're still working on it. But about 6 months later, he called me and said, you need to come down to New York. So right in the middle of a tour for Cheap Trick, I flew into New York and auditioned. Actually, I did that twice before I joined Frehley's Comet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your influence on Frehley's Comet was immense.
Thank you.
In many ways, because you brought keyboards into the band.
Here's what happened with that. I'm a keyboard player, but I play more guitar now than anything else for the rock stuff. When I came into that in Frehley's Comet, about almost just under half of that record was recorded, and there was already keyboards on those songs. I didn't have those keyboards. Okay. They were already there because that's what the producer wanted to use or what Ace wanted to use. So there was a lot of things people say, oh, you're talking about keyboards to the Frehley's Comet. No, I didn't. They were there, Yes, I wrote It's Over Now on the second album.
Yeah.
But that was a different type of style of keyboard as far as I was concerned. It's a power ballad. But I was bringing what I thought would be a little heavier type, darker feel. And everybody thought I was lighter on the keyboards. And, well, that's just not the case.
Okay. So can you tell me a little about how 4x Fate came about?
Well, John and I have been talking over the years since, Frehley's Comet, since I left Frehley's Comet. And so about 5 years ago, John and I were talking. He said, hey, we should try to get Ace to do a reunion for the 25-year anniversary. So we touched on that, and we went through certain avenues because we couldn't get a hold of Ace, really. And we finally did. And Ace said, well, I'll do it, but I want a certain amount of money for doing the shows. And, I'm just going to say flat out, it was an unrealistic amount of money. So there's no way we could do it. So John and I said, well, let's maybe we should put a band together and do some Frehley's Comet and maybe some Kiss stuff for the fans just alone. So we had some friends of ours that helped us out with that, and we got with some other friends, and we managed to put a band together and we called it 4x Fate. And we had Stet Howland from Wasp playing drums, and Sean Kelly from Canada, from Crash Kelly and Nelly Furtado band, and he played guitar. Great guy, great musicians. But as it turns out, we ended up having to replace both of them with Pat Gasparini, our current guitar player and songwriter extraordinaire, and we had AJ Perro come in from Twisted Sister. And then, of course, after 6 tracks, he passed away, had a heart attack. So we ended up getting Rob Affuso just by chance, and that is our lineup.
Let me ask you a couple of tough questions, and then we'll finish up.
Sure.
So you've been a musician for a long, long time. How difficult is it in 2017, as opposed to, let's just say, compare it to 1977?
It's so much different. It's so much more hard than back then you could create a following. You'd have a steady following of people who would listen to you, and you could do a record every year and a half or whatever it was, and the people would always be there for you. Merchandising was different. You could make a lot of money touring. You make a lot of money with records or sustain yourself. The problem is, and today, everything's bootlegged 30 seconds after it comes out.
Sure.
And the attention span of the American public has changed. The media, or the medium of listening to this stuff, is so diverse that there's just a couple thousand songs on an iPod, and people don't want to concentrate on just one song, one band. It's on to the next thing. So yeah, it's very hard. And then you combine that with the fact that I turned 60 this year, and it's like, okay, I'm out here. We're not living in a van, but at times it's not much more than that.
Sure.
You really have to want to do it to keep doing it, and that's what John and I want to do with Rob and Pat, and we're just going to keep it going until we just go, we gave it a shot, and that's how far we got.
Well, in many ways, the KISS Association has been good.
The KISS
and great longevity.
KISS fans are the best in the world.
Yeah.
They really are. I was, Ace used to joke about, when we do interviews, people say, what do you think of KISS? And they ask me, and Ace would say, tell them the truth, because the joke, I was never into KISS when I was younger. I was into different types of music. But, you cannot appreciate the brilliance and the moves, the business moves of what KISS has done with branding, with anthem songs, with image. There's nobody beats that. And so I've learned to respect it, 100-fold over the last, 35 years.
What do you think it is with KISS that obtains that lifetime of loyalty from some people?
Well, it's a complete show. You get good songs, you get great characters, you get an unbelievable show, you get loyalty to the fans. I think for the majority of their career, they've always catered to the fans of what they wanted to see and what they wanted to hear, and they've stayed pretty true with it as best they can. And the fans love it and they appreciate it, and it's transcended from generations, probably 2 or 3 generations.
What are some of your favourite memories from that European tour with Frehley's Comet? What was that, around 1988?
Yeah, it was 88.
Hammersmith.
It was great playing the Hammersmith again. because I played it, I think, four times with 4 major acts. It was great because we did production videos. We had a great crowd. It was the pinnacle peak of Frehley's Comet, and it was an indelible memory for me, and it always will be, because I reached the goal of what I've always wanted to do. I thought it would go longer, but alas, it did not.
Every guest on our show gets to choose a song by an Australian artist, something which is special to them. What would you like to choose and why?
Wow, let me think of some Australian artists there. Put me on the spot. Who the hell would I like? It would have to be AC/DC with Bon Scott.
Okay.
Probably Big Balls? Is that it?
Yeah.
Big Balls?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I did that song a while back. I got complete mind fart here. Yes, Big Balls by AC/DC. That would be great.
Thank you. I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, of course. All right, Dennis.
Thank you.
All right.